Hey guys, hope you're all well. My name is Nathan Leong, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you all my experience with BLDG 1021, as well as some tips and a breakdown of what this course entails. The first half, I'll be talking about the overview of all the parts, and the latter half will be mainly concerned with the group sections of the wiki. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you guys will get the best sense of what this course is all about. Just a little intro about me. I'm currently a second year student studying my bachelor's in construction management and property. And having completed this course in 2019, I'm able to share with you all my wonderful experience taking this course. So let's get right into it. A couple of key points that I'd like to first point out about this assignment is that the assignment is essentially worth 20% of the course, consisting of 15% written, which is the wiki, and 5% the video. It's important to understand that this assignment isn't weighted highly, so please don't stress about it. As I go through it in this video, you'll see it'll be a piece of cake. So first of all, let's talk about the wiki. So from my understanding, your group would have picked a project to undertake based on a list that Samad has provided you. The wiki consists of 6 group sections along with individual sections. Each section has a maximum word count of 500 words per section, with a 10% leniency to go above if needed. With 10 people per group, that's a mere 300 words each, which is super simple. So, looking through your assignment brief, the most important paragraph I like to stress is the one that is shown to you, outlined in red, which pretty much summarizes the entire written assignment for you. This assignment is strongly evidence-based, so given that your word count per person is around 300 words, fill up your sections with facts. This assignment should be written as if you're trying to explain your project to a new manager who is responsible for the project. So keep that in mind. As mentioned before, there are 10 of you in the group, each with a role that you choose amongst yourselves. What's great about this assignment is that with these roles assigned, you guys get to play your part acting out your roles together on a real life project. The more you guys put into it, the better understanding you all get from this assignment. And honestly, it's one of the things that I do appreciate about this course, being able to live out your roles. Well, not necessarily live out your roles, but to at least get a grasp of what your role undertakes and what each of the roles undertakes. It gives you a better understanding of what you want to be when you enter the industry. So yeah, the more you guys put into it, the more knowledge you get of the industry and the more ideas you guys will get about the next step, which is your career path. So keep that in mind. But yeah, moving on to the next section. These are the group sections listed on the screen, which I'll go through in a bit more detail and a bit more depth later on in the video. And here are some general tips that I'd like to share with you guys. First of all, I like to highlight being simple and direct. As I mentioned earlier, this year you guys only have 500 words per group section, which with each section I assume being split up, so even less words. Keep your concepts really simple and straightforward. Give straight facts because honestly with this task, I found that it's so much easier for you guys to go over the limit than under. The second tip is read lots of up-to-date news articles. Keeping yourself well informed of current news about the project, as well as previous milestones or key information on your project, will make your life substantially easier. Also, I'd like to note that when you guys find information, don't forget to cite it and save your links. This is because there's so many instances where I find information, incorporate it in my work, and then close the tab immediately thinking I got everything I needed, only to realize weeks down the track that I'd completely forgotten to cite the information and had no website to back it up. So yeah, definitely don't forget that. And lastly, communication. As this is a team-based assignment, be transparent with each other. You guys will not only be aware of where everyone's at, but what's more important is that you guys are all on the same page. This means that you guys can ensure that you all aren't mixing up dates or facts, which then keeps the whole assignment cohesive. Now, moving on to the next part, which is the individual section of your assignment. As mentioned before, each of you are assigned with a role out of a list of 10 shown before. I'm well aware that this section isn't marked, unlike ours was back then. when I did it. However, I still encourage you guys to do it because as first year students, this is where you guys are given the opportunity to understand the different roles that encompass construction management. So Matt has purposely assigned you each role for you to be able to become more familiar with the industry and the certain things each role is responsible for, which gives you all a greater sense of what you guys want to be when you enter the industry, as I mentioned before. So, and off top of that, the major chunk of this part is going to be part of your video. So the more effort you put into this part, the less time you have to spend figuring out what to say in your videos. Plus, the more you'll get out of it. So here's an example of a project manager role, which I completed last year. And the hot tip of mine is when you're unsure of the responsibilities of your role, I strongly suggest hitting up LinkedIn and searching for profiles that relate to your role or project. It definitely helped me big time, as I definitely had no clue what the roles were starting off as a first year. Now, the next section I want to address is the video. The video is worth 5% and is 5 to 10 minutes long. The checklist of what the video should include would look a bit like this. So all you need to include and do is introduce the project, yourselves and your roles and responsibilities within the project. Chuck in some role play in between to make it as realistic as possible and as entertaining as possible. And just to remind you, it's only 5%, so don't kill yourselves over it, and it's completely straightforward. So some quick pointers that I like to share with you guys that make your lives a lot easier is, first of all, complete the individual parts first. I know it's a bit different for you guys this year as it isn't marked, unlike ours where our individual components were marked. However, I highly recommend you to at least put in a bit of effort, as I mentioned earlier. Second is plan the video. The video may seem simple with it being 5 to 10 minutes long. However, you don't realize how important structure is until you get around starting it. So I strongly suggest planning tools such as storyboards, brainstorms, and scripting, to name a few, to get you guys all on the same page and to understand how your videos will come together. Lastly is communication. Especially during this pandemic situation, I feel as though it's much easier for us to get out of touch with each other. I know I, for one, hate texting and calling, but as much as I hate it, it helped a lot, especially when it came down to smashing it out before the due date. Here's an example of what my team did. There's heaps of examples on YouTube since that's where everyone's got to upload it. So look around and pick out the best ones for your group to work around. A few mistakes that I'd like to mention that my team could have improved on is, specifically on the video, is that first, introduce your project. Our team was very cramped with time, so we just rushed straight into it without the best planning. So keep that in mind. Always introduce your project. Second is be creative. Our video was too straightforward. And third is make it quality. I suggest using a good quality camera. We use our phones because we didn't have the resources and because we didn't have the best time management coming into this task. Because we severely underestimated the amount of effort and time it takes to make the video. So definitely keep all these in mind when making your videos. For the second part of this video, I want to talk to you guys about the group section in greater depth. I understand that sometimes this assignment can feel very brief, and hopefully by digging into it a bit deeper, you guys can get a better understanding of what to write about. We'll go in order, and first off is project objectives. The project objectives consists of 5 subheadings, 5 main subheadings. So it would be roughly an even split of 100 words each. And here are some examples from one of my team members for you guys to have a look at in your own time. On this slide. And Yeah, those were the examples. So yeah, you guys can just pause the video, have a look at what contents there were, because it'll take a lot more time to um, go through it. But yeah, the next section is the construction site analysis. This section contains two main parts, the overview and analysis. Some tips on this section is include pictures of the site, maps of the extent of the project, and graphs or tables to better explain the site. This part is fairly straightforward. All you got to do is pretty much discuss methods of the overall construction. Here are some more examples of these sections. So yeah, pause it in your own time and just have a read. Yeah, that's why the recording's here for you guys, so you guys can just have a look back, flick through back, and see what's relevant, and hopefully these will give you some pointers on what to write about. And some things I wanted to point out where we could have improved on this section, reading back and looking back on it, is make it specific and more relevant to your project by giving you direct examples. Don't make it too generalized. When you read through my examples, for instance, just pick out some things where you can see it being generalized and pretty much fix it and apply it to your respective parts. So next up is the proficiency management mood analysis. So this again only consists of two parts, which are fairly straightforward. I don't think I need to dig too deep into it, but essentially all you need to talk about is the 7 elements of waste and give examples of them within your project. And also discuss its effects on your overall project. Here are some examples. And next, I want to talk about project risks. So this is a topic that is newly introduced by Samad. So I do not have any examples of it. However, looking through it, it is fairly straightforward. All you got to do is identify the risks that relate to your project, discuss how it affects your project or stakeholders and your stakeholders, sorry, and also give insight to the reader on risk evaluation, which I have on the screen. So next one is plant equipment requirements. There are two parts, essentially talking about what the construction of the project consists of in terms of equipment and explain why. I don't have any examples of this because our team didn't do this part, unfortunately, as one of our members dropped out last year. So also speaking on that note, if one of your members do drop out, please let someone know. You won't be forced to cover their role, and their part will simply be dropped. But yeah, definitely let them know. And finally, another new section that Samad has introduced is the learning reflective writing. Basically, you guys have the choice of writing a reflection on either one of Samad's developed applications. So the first one you can talk about is up on the screen, which is the virtual reality demonstration of the tunnel boring machine. Next one is the excavator tool app, which allows you to use an excavator interactively around your surrounding environment, which is pretty cool. And the last one is the FBE piling augmented reality app. So this is more of a passive learning type of app where you go through the processes of piling, which I found extremely interesting. And honestly, all these three apps, regardless of the ones that you choose, are very, very hands-on. So have a look at them, and based on the ones that you like the most, or based on the ones that you feel like you guys can write the most on, just choose it and write 500 words on it. And pretty much, this is what it entails. So choose either, one of the three, and the reflection itself is worth 5%. Considering this, I feel like this is easy marks, where you guys can, smash honestly. And your reflection is meant to be a personal comment. An essay-style answer isn't required. These are some examples of the things you can ask yourselves when you guys do come about writing it. So basically, just write overall how you feel, good or bad. There isn't a right answer. And yeah, as I said before, it's an easy 5% right there. And that's a wrap, guys. Hope this video helped lighten the load for you guys and cleared up some question marks. Here's my email if you guys have any further questions. Thanks for watching. Good luck and take it easy.